In today's video, I'm breaking down the vision and current status of PMC Karma in Escape from Tarkov because it is recently confirmed to still be planned for the game. So if it's going to be a thing, then it's worth discussing. Now, knowing that there will be some players that hate this, I wanted to put right at the beginning that you do need to keep in mind that we will have arena mode for pure PvP, and the quests in the game right now don't matter as much after full release. These are considered side quests, while the main storyline quests are going to work a little bit different. And there's still several other features that are going to tie into this that's going to help out. It's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of details and we'll get into it, but first I wanted to say if you like this video, please hit the button and sub for more. I really appreciate it. During the last Tarkov TV, Nikita, the lead developer of Escape from Tarkov, directly referenced a video I made discussing the list of planned features I had accumulated over the years for the game and said that some things will make it while some will be cut and others will show up in DLC. With that information, I've already made a video where I describe what I think will or won't get cut, and I'll have that link in the description if you're interested. When previously last spoken about, Nikita said that PMC Karma was still planned but being redesigned. So before I started writing this script, I figured I'd ask him and see what he'd say, and he did confirm that it is still planned. So PMC Karma is not cut as of today, and it is still planned to come to the game. I would say it's possible it does get cut due to community thoughts on the subject, or maybe they're not going to be able to figure out a good way for it to work in the game, which will again go back to community thoughts on the subject, or the use of the feature, things like that. But in the end, I do still believe it will at least be tested in-game, if not stay for good. Realistically, if inertia and the weight system stayed in, then Karma will probably stay in too. That's just my 2 cents on it. On the slim chance that you don't know what PMC Karma is, check out my video on it in the description, but the TLDR is that you will get punished for killing USECs as a USEC or bears as a bear. Potentially the exact same sort of system that we have now with scav on scav kills. But remember, it is being redesigned, so we'll see what ends up happening. In general though, the concept will be the same. USECs shouldn't kill USECs, bears shouldn't kill bears. And there will be some sort of system in place to punish you if you do that. So personally, I think the dynamic of thinking before you shoot has become pretty interesting with scavs, and I would like to use that as a proof of concept for it being interesting and adding it to the game instead of what a lot of people are saying, which is it's ridiculous or it will kill the game. If I had $1 for every person that has ever said that something has killed or will kill Tarkov over the years, I would have bought EA by now and started production on a new Bad Company game instead of whatever bullshit they're doing nowadays. In my mind, there is nothing that we shouldn't at least try before full release, and that for sure includes something that seems to be working well already with the Karma system with scavs. With some tuning of the scav Karma system and probably some new features tied into it, I think Karma will be a strong addition to the game and lead to more interesting encounters and raids as a whole. Right now, scav Karma is rough at the top, where you'll lose dozens of raids worth of progress for one mistake or bad decision. In BSG's eyes, that's supposed to be countered by taking advantage of the things that give us the most karma, which is, as of right now, killing PMCs as a scav, killing bad scavs as a scav, paid vehicle exits as a PMC, and using co-op extracts as both PMCs and scavs. Most important of those being killing PMCs as a scav. Right now, most people use their scavs as free loot, and on the rare occasion they do have something capable of fighting PMCs where they might try to take advantage of that. However, the speed at which PMCs finish raids and the lack of fighting capacity of scavs keep people looting instead of fighting. The advantage that people aren't using for scavs is numbers, which again is tied to PMCs being in the raid and the want to participate as a scav player. Scav raids take just as long, if not longer, to get into as a PMC raid, so you have to keep that in mind when you're sitting there with a half health pistol or AK shooting tracer rounds with no stock and a barter item or potentially important item in your pocket. Yeah, a lot of us would just leave in that situation, especially late wipe, where the PMCs are very likely to be running around with the best stuff. There needs to be some adjustments here in order to push the gameplay through. And no, I don't mean that by making people play the way that the devs want you to play. It's just setting up the game the way that they intended the game to be set up. And I've talked about this as an ecosystem, and I'm going to do it again here. I think in a perfect world, or in this case a perfect raid, it will end up making for a much more interesting play session when PMCs are moving through maps fighting off scavs instead of just hunting scavs, while the PMCs that they come across will need to be checked out a bit before they shoot. Then if they're friendly, it turns into the situation that we have with scavs right now, where they absolutely could still kill you, so you need to always keep that in the back of your mind as you push through the raid. This is also keeping in mind that if you're looking for pure PMC combat, you will still have arena. So if this gameplay sounds stupid to you, you will have a place to belong. If you're worried about how this affects your progression with traders, you should, but also shouldn't be. The real progression comes with making it through to meet the quest givers in person after release, and we haven't even seen the real story yet with that. Because what we're doing right now is we're doing these crazy quests to get reputation and XP, because that is what the traders require. You need to have a certain level, which you need XP in order to reach that level, and you need a reputation with those traders, which you get for completing quests with them. So if they have a quest for you that gives you XP and gives you rep that's part of the main story, that's realistically all you need. Actually, I don't even know why I'm saying realistically. That is genuinely all you need. raid there, and then by chance, you might be able to complete a side quest here and there, which is what we're doing right now. So it's all there. It's fine. Or it will be there after release, because that's when they're going to do the full storyline quests and stuff like that. Also, in theory, when you survive, you'll be surviving with good stuff in your bag much more often and playing with pre-made or formed groups of players. That's why the find group option is there, except strangers will pretty much always just kill you immediately because of the lack of karma, but also because they're just not worried about surviving what's out there after they kill you. If the AI was much more difficult, and I understand what they're doing right now is kind of crazy, but there's plans for that down the line. Generally speaking, if raids, which includes AI, was more difficult and the player scavs focused more on hunting PMCs, it would be a much different story. So gathering what I could over the years, I think BSG's intentions here would be the ideal raid difficulty is when you've needed to kill or be killed, where you feel lucky to have survived when playing solo. Right now, it's just not the case. Right now, we have the weird middle ground where playing solo is completely doable, and if you play as a squad, it's almost too easy. Now, here's the speculation side of things, where I'll include some other features that should also be coming to the game in order to help overcome some potential issues, starting with radios. Radios are still planned to be in the game, and as Nikita has described many times in the past, it is planned to be a pretty advanced feature. Immediately upon hearing about radios and the features that's involved with it, people thought, what's the point of that? We've got Discord, we've got other things that you can use to communicate with your friends. What's the point of a radio? Well, what you didn't take into account is the karma system. It'd be nice to be able to make friends with people that you're not supposed to be fighting in game, and if you're not already in Discord with those people, then you're not going to be able to communicate. Radios will allow you to communicate. So even though you should be able to figure out good ways to determine if you're looking at a bear or a USEC, there is lots of added potential with radios as well. So if radios are just open frequencies that you can switch in between, as assumed they will be, you can distinguish USEC and bear open channels or friendly PMC channels. Pestily or Landmark or even BSG themselves will designate certain channels as USEC or bear and just say, hey, everybody go to 177.2 if you're bear. Same can go for USEC. If you jump on that channel and say, hey, I'm over here on bear, then you can go team up with that person. Could also be something like a, hey, whoever just ran through Goshen, are you bear or USEC? And again, the fun begins from there. If they're listening, that is. Just to be clear again here with speculation, the same can go for listening in on scav communications or AI. So what if there is the potential to find the frequency that the goons communicate on, or just random AI scavs, and can hear them call out shots or activity? You might even hear them say, I saw bears in this area, I saw USEC in this area. Just like we know the potential spawns for AI, I bet there will be commonly used frequencies that will use and can track them down through the clarity of the transmission, because if they sound clear, then they're close. If they're not, then they're far. Or if it's not, if the transmission's not clear, then they're far. And again, that is if that feature comes to the game in terms of tracking people down, which I think it is. I've heard Nikita talk about that a couple times now. The exact same thing can happen with PMCs that you meet in raid. You can give them your frequency and hope nobody else is listening in. Honestly, the prospect of potentially finding an opposing PMC faction's frequency and then laying an ambush for them is the thing of dreams for me. Only really ever seen in games like Arma. And that's something that can happen every raid if you wanted it to, at least every day. In Tarkov, if this comes through. Could be really cool. Now, if you are the type of player that is thinking, this is stupid, I just want to shoot what I want when I want, then first, evaluate your mental on that one and possibly go talk to somebody about that. And second, you can actually still do that. I'm certain there will be people who run the rogue gameplay style. And in fact, I'm pretty sure there will be quest lines there for you to still be able to achieve things if you were to do that, whether it be through Fence, Lightkeeper, or new NPCs that we haven't met yet. As bad as scav karma can get if you just go ham and kill everything, it doesn't make you stop playing. I bet it'll be very similar with PMCs. However, the downside with scavs needs to be treated more strictly because it really takes away from the ecosystem when scavs kill other scavs. If you want to kill something, kill PMCs and work with scavs to do it. I mean, at the very least, work together to kill some PMCs, and then when they're not looking, cap them so that you can get the loot for yourself, especially if you got the kill. Don't just kill the scavs, because then you're just getting some shitty loot, when if you work together, you could be walking out of there with some pretty good stuff. Just think about that if you're in the negative on the scav karma side of things. As long as the proper testing is done and the gameplay is shaped well, karma in combination with the release of Arena, more stable servers, and the progression that we'll have at launch, I think it could be the thing that really makes Tarkov stick above the rest in terms of unique gameplay. But let me know what you guys think. For those of you guys that are unaware, I am going to be moving across the country next week, so it'll be rough if some big news drops, but I will have my ways of getting through to you guys. Two of those ways are Twitter and Discord, so make sure you join both. They're linked below. Also, I'll have some videos lined up like this one to post while I'm offline, so if you have other concerns for future gameplay or points on karma that I might have brought up today, then let me know. The next subject is going to be open world and spawns for both PMCs and scavs. If you're interested in getting ahead of that, then hit me up on Discord, hit me up on Twitter, or leave the comment. But that's all for now, guys. You know the drill. If you like the video, hit the button, sub for more, comment what you think, and check out my other channels for other games right here. One of those is Star Citizen, which we've got an org of over 200 people in, and it's kind of blowing up, in case you're interested. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.